It's been a while. Also, let's turn the volume off. Let us have a look, mates. And we should. I believe we are live. Tom Holland.
I think it's live. I think so.
We are live, mates. I think we are live. Yes, we are definitely live. I've just had the notification.
Cool.
A few people trickle in. Had a couple of days to promote it, but always good we get a few people trickling in. So, mate, how have you been? What's
not too bad? Not bad, not bad. Bit lighter, but training hard still. Just keeping busy with work. Same old, really.
Say a bit lighter. What you weighing in at, dude?
About 80. Around 80 kilo now. Yeah, right, around 80 kilo. Basically, just eased off on the calories and that. When I was waking up about 86, 87, I was on like 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, now it's just too much of a chore at the minute. I've last 6 months, 9 months, just relaxed. Maintained it for a little while, but it's started dropping off naturally.
Yeah.
But I still feel just as strong. Like, there's a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, you've lost a lot of weight." You know, I'm like, "Cheers, mate." But yeah, I still feel good though. Still feel really good. If anything, stamina feels a bit better. I don't feel as like sluggish sort of thing. So some things I feel like a little bit more body weight would help with like some exercises, but majority of it.
Any consolation, Tom? I've got a load. It doesn't.
No?
I've got a load of body weight. Doesn't help. Yeah. I'm like a contrast to you in a lot of ways. People don't say to me, "You lost a lot of weight." Rarely get that. You know.
Hopefully one day.
It's like Mindaugas said, you know, if you lost a little bit of weight, you might not look that bad.
Yeah, but yeah, we know what he is, don't we?
We do. We do know what it is. A few people trickling in, mate. We got old Danny boy, dead calm Danny. He's in the chat. We got the Dungeon Master. We got Sir Bagels. We got Too Smooth in the house. We got Ennis in the house, giving us the live. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. If you are just joining us, it's a good night for me tonight. I'm being joined by one of my favorite arm wrestlers of all time. He's
appreciate it.
Great British arm wrestler, and if you don't know who this guy is, where have you been? The Lean Machine, Tom Holland. I've been a big fan of this kid since he was literally shin high. Literally shin high. Known Tom pretty much all his life. I think I met Tom when he was like 2.
Must have been.
Yeah, maybe even younger than that, but sort of watched entire arm wrestling career. And I'm very, very proud of Tom Holland.
I appreciate that, mate. Appreciate it.
You're a fantastic arm wrestler, Tom, and you're an even better bloke, mate. And that's what it's all about. So, firstly, to start things off, thanks for giving up your time, mate, to come on the show.
No problem at all.
Overdue, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is. See if everyone stays interested. Like, if they don't shut off after 10 minutes, it's a bonus. So we'll see what happens.
So, deep inside the minds, guys, tonight, and we are going deep inside the mind of the Lean Machine, Tom Holland. So, for the next few weeks, months, whatever it takes to sort of get the series done, we're going to break down and give everybody a potted history of Tom's background, Tom's history in the sport, history in life, and sort of bring you up to speed and give you a real insight on who Tom is, what he's about, what makes him tick, his ethos on arm wrestling, his ethos on life in general, and so on and so on. So we're going to walk that through. And Tom, I wanted to really start the absolute foundation, mate, the base level and build up. And for me, I think the best way to do that, particularly with yourself, is probably to give an outline of where you're from in the UK and your family, because people will see as we go through that's got a lot of sway and clout in the sport of arm wrestling.
Yeah, right. So, start. I was obviously born 1991. I grew up. My first house, by the way, it's probably going to be broken into sectors of areas that I've lived in because I've moved quite a few times. So that's going to be the easiest way for me to like break down like what part of my life I was in and all that. So I was born in Luton. Grew up with my family. I've got one brother, two sisters. At the time, I was living with both my mum and my dad. Place called Lucy Farm in Luton.
So to give people an indication of Luton, guys, Luton is, I would say, what, 45 minutes outside of London, so in the south of England, for anybody who's watching in the US or around the world. We're talking really the opposite end of the country from where I am now. So you're, what is it, about 40 minutes outside of London, would you say, Tom?
About 40, yeah, probably about 40 minutes. About 35, 40 minutes from the M25, like just the outskirts of London. So about an hour from, it's about right, about 40 minutes outside London, something like that. So yeah, like I mean, I moved, like I was living there until I was about 6 years old, but I was living with my dad and my mum and my siblings. I was the youngest out of them. Yeah, I always remember being around arm wrestling, like ever since I can remember. I remember people coming around training. I remember you coming around training, like obviously just little like flashes and that. My memory wasn't that great from that young of age.
Sure.
But I do remember seeing you come around the house and that. And obviously you used to travel from where you are now, like driving like 3 or 4 hours, like just come down to train with my dad, mum and dad. I always see, as everyone else sees the dad, I always see my dad as like the strongest man in the world.
Yeah.
And with him being like such a big guy, and I was only a skinny little kid, I was always trying to impress him with like lifting heavy stuff. Like even at the age of like 3 or 4 years old, so I'd be going in the back garden. There'd be a few like broken cancel slabs. Like I'd be breaking off a little corner and that, and then trying to pick it up over me. And he's coming out going mad, like fucking do that. He turned around and I'm like, Dad, look. Any sort of thing that I could do, like to try and show how strong I was, even from a really young age. Like I've always been obsessed with it, like being strong and like trying to meet up with him. I'd do it. And then a big part of my upbringing, especially from a young age, as you know, like my dad was very much into his hunting. Used to do a lot of hunting growing up. That was a big thing for me. I remember traipsing across the field and that like heavy plough field in the winter, like carrying rabbits and all that. Like, most kids would like be put off of it just with like how much hard graft it is. But I was, like I said, I was in that mindset of always trying to like not give up in front of him, always trying to impress. And
in terms of give us an outline on that hunting, Tom. In terms of what style of hunting, because your dad was big. He had a tattoo, didn't he? A specific tattoo.
Yeah. I mean, he had a what's that? Yeah, that's it.
The lurcher.
He's got a couple of lurchers on his shoulder.
Yeah.
So he used to be very, very big into the dogs and that. So we used to hunt all sorts, with permission, obviously. But yeah. That's another thing as well, though. We used to have countless amount of dogs. Like we used to go through dogs like nothing, sort of thing. Like used to always be trading them and like getting the best dogs we could. There'd be times where I remember we'd have like 10, 15 dogs at the same time, like loads of litters of pups and that. Used to sell them on.
I remember.
You remember that? Remember?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I mean, as well, it wasn't just the dogs as well. Like, it was like shooting. You must know ferreting. What ferreting is? Yeah, we used to do a lot of ferreting and that. Like that's like ultimate poaching, that is. And whatever we used to get as well, though, it never used to go to waste. And that we used to always like make use of it. But then fishing as well. I was always like we was quite big into fishing and that when I was younger. Like, I remember going out all the time, like fishing and hunting. That was like my main things, like as a kid.
So very outdoorsy family. And was that mostly with your brother and your dad?
Yeah, mainly with my dad and that. I remember again, even my sisters and that used to come out hunting. Yeah, like it was
they used to go hunting and
yeah, definitely. Not as much as me, but we used to love it. Like we was brought up into it. and that was just part of our life. So yeah, I don't regret any of that at all. I'm really glad that I actually grew up into that sort of way of life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Learned a lot of stuff from that.
Just
Really enjoyed
general
it.
life skills and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Just
I
give
mean,
everyone a bit of a overview of the difference in age in your brothers and sisters, mate.
sorry, mate.
Give your brother and sisters, your two
Yeah.
sisters and your brother. Just give them a breakdown on the age gap between you and those
Right,
lads.
so it's me. I'm the youngest. Then my sister Levine, she's like 18 months older than me. Rachel's probably like 4 or 5 years older than me, and my brother Simon, he's like 8 years older,
Mhm.
8 years older than me. So when I was about 6, my brother was like 13, 14, something like that. And yeah, like I said, obviously being the youngest as well, I had it the hardest. Like not from the parents, from the siblings. Like I'd always be the one that get terrorized, and not got the blame for everything, but yeah, got the blame for everything basically. But I used to get away with the most as well, obviously. But I never actually said a word. I never spoke until I was about 4 years old, probably like 5 years old. Like I was pretty much a mute as a kid.
You really were.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a word. Just do stuff. I wouldn't say anything.
Do you have did you have any understanding as to why that was, mate?
To be honest, no. I think where my family, like my brother and my sisters, and that, obviously they love talking, and they used to do a lot of it for me. Pretty much, like I didn't really need to say anything because I was just with them all the time, and I just didn't actually need to speak. In all honesty, at that point in time, I never used to have to say I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, or I want that, or I want that, because I used to get not what I wanted, but I don't know. It's hard to explain really, but I do. I remember my first words. Like obviously, I started off saying mum and dad and all that basic stuff, but my first word was actually my mum used to work in a hardware store.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was behind the counter and I'd serve people, but not say a word, just like nothing. I typed it in the till and then I said 99p, please. And mum's like, well, like, you what? I was like, yeah. All right. Then couldn't shut me up from there. Well, yeah, literally about 5 years old is when I first said, like, start talking properly. Yeah, I can't actually explain why. I don't know why I went so long without speaking.
Were you quite shy, do you think, as a kid?
I was very shy, very shy. Yeah, to the point where, like, I remember people trying to talk to me, and I'd just try. My way of hiding was just looking away. Like I just looked the complete opposite direction. Anyone would say, "Oh, are you okay?" I'll be like, "No." I'll do that now sometimes, but yeah, very, very shy, very timid. But what reason I don't know, because of like I said, I'd I enjoyed life back then. Like I had a really good upbringing and
Yeah.
that. And yeah, there's just one of them things really. I was just a really quiet kid. Didn't really do too much wrong. Just see how my brother and sisters misbehave, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Basically, yeah.
Were you quite obviously? Say you knocked about with your dad and your brother and your sisters, but with your brother having an 8-year age gap there, significantly older, did you have your own sort of friend group, or were you still knocking around with him when you weren't out hunting, fishing, doing stuff like that?
Oh, he was well. My brother was at the age where he was like going out with his mates and that. I was only like when I remember all this stuff, I was like between 4 and 6 years old.
Yeah.
So he was like a teenager then. He was going out with his mates and that on his bikes and doing whatever they were doing in them days. So I didn't really have much of not at that age, didn't really have much of a bonding relationship with my brother. because of we were doing our own things almost. Yeah, he didn't really go out hunting too. He was out hunting and that with us, but when I was really young, almost like too young to remember anything. I don't remember too much of him being out with us hunting. It's mainly just me, my dad, and Levain that I remember mainly. Talking about hunting as well. There is one time my dad reminded me of this a couple of years ago. I was in nursery one time. And then obviously in nursery and that, you're doing your own thing and that, like they're just telling you, oh yeah, draw some pictures and that, write something, whatever. So I wrote on. They called my dad into school, into the nursery. They're like, right, you got to have a word with your son. Basically, you can't be telling him this stuff. I wrote on a bit of paper. Me and my dad go out hunting rabbits and foxes and deers and hares, and I'll draw a picture of like me and him with a lamp, and then they're all a load of dead animals all around us, sort of thing in nursery. They called him in. They're like, right, Lee, you got to be careful what you tell your son. Like, you can't be sure. He's like, yeah, I will. He's like, right, going out hunting tonight.
So, mate, let's sort of for people who don't know, tell me about your mum and dad. Tell me who they were first of all, and give us a bit of an overview of them.
Yeah, well, so mum and dad, my mum's it was Marie and Lee Holland at the time. They started arm wrestling in the early 90s. I think my dad come across a pub competition. I think it might have been held. I'm not sure if it was held by Rod Lynette, but he was there. My dad entered into it, and then he ended up giving him a pretty good go as an amateur. And I think from there he sort of got hooked into it. Started training, taking it a bit more serious. Then my mum got into it as well, like shortly after that. And I think my dad made it to like British champion, number 2 in Europe, number 2 in the world in '94 in Sweden, I think it was. I think there was a big team here that went there, weren't there?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was. Was it the 90 kilo class that he made, or did he have to cut 100 kilo? 100 kilo class, yeah. So he got a silver medalist in the 100 kilo class at the World Championships, Sweden, '94. My mum got, I think she got 6th place over there as well. She was doing really well in Britain as well. Female arm wrestling was booming back then. Again, I don't remember much of the competitions and that because I was too young at that time. But I've seen all the footage and I've seen all the videos. There must have been about like at least 20 top level women competing in the country at the time, at least. So yeah, like for her to be at that sort of level in the country amongst all them was a pretty good achievement for her.
Yes.
And yeah, then from there, unfortunately, it didn't. Your
dad was pretty well known fella. Did very well at the Yukon Jack in 1995, New York.
Was that 95? Yeah, it was a year after the Worlds, weren't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up in 3rd place at the Yukon Jack.
Yeah, he. I think his first match was against. I can't remember most of the names that he pulled there. I've seen all the videos though. He pulled a guy from Bulgaria who was a current world champion or something.
Georgia.
Was it Georgia?
Yes.
Yeah, and he ran through him like pretty easy, ruffled his head after. Then
George Givens.
Very
good puller.
Yeah, where top rolled it, like shorter arm than him, but Dad top rolled him. I think he top rolled him, fouled, got a restart, and then just top rolled him again, peeled his wrist right out. Beat a couple of other guys, and then he come against John. He was going there for John, weren't he?
Yes.
Yeah, that was his main target. He was going for John Brzezinski at the time. But then he lost to John, obviously, which is no shame in that whatsoever. John just controlled centre straight away, took him across. And then he come against John's brother, Bill, after that. Paul Bill Brzezinski. That was a bit more of a bit more of a match, but it didn't take him past centre. It was probably like a 5-6 second match, something like that. Bill got on top of him, and then as soon as he got on top, that was pretty much it there.
And your dad won numerous open tournaments at that time.
Yeah, I remember him. Do you know what? He's been trying to look for some footage. I don't know if anyone on here from anywhere in the country, but he pulled a guy called Hagen Roma.
Yeah,
Germany. Apparently, the table broke apart, and then he threw it like they throwing the table at each other and all that. And
yeah, it was great.
He's not seen that footage. He wants to really find that footage so he can watch it again.
Yeah, I've not seen the footage myself, but I was there. Remember the match very well. Got over the top. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
they were good times, mate.
Yeah. There's I remember another one as well. Probably dropping a minute a little bit, but oh well. The Worlds in '94, he threatened to throw everyone off the bridge.
He did that. He did that. Yeah. He had a few too many shandies, I think.
Yeah. Oh, good times.
Yeah, that one was good. I love you, Lee, but that's a low point, mate.
I think he will be watching now. I think he should be watching now.
Yeah, I'm sure he will, mate. He's very, very proud of you. And yeah, I had some great times with Lee at that time. He's a good lad. And yeah, went all over the world. Went to Belgium, Germany, Switzerland. We went all over the place. The States, absolute quality. And your dad was a very, very. He was hard work. He was a serious puller, mate. Very fast.
Yeah. It's a shame that they stopped so early, like both of them, really. I think, like I said, I think he started like early '90s, like probably 1990, before I was born. And shortly after the Yukon Jack, his career sort of like stopped after that, like shortly after, I think.
Yeah, I think he sort of knocked it on the head around '96, didn't he?
Yeah. For what reason, I don't know, but it's a shame because of like I think he's full of regrets as well about it. Like I think he wishes that he carried on because of who knows. He got to there in a shorter period of time. Who knows where he would have got to in like another 5 years or 10 years or something like that. You can only wonder like where it would have been. But I know he had like, I mean, at that time he had like 18-inch forearms, like wrist set. Like he's still got the wrist set as well now. He's still got that now.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. When was the last time you saw your dad, mate?
To be honest, probably about a bit too long, to be honest. Probably about 2 years ago.
Right.
Probably about 2
You
years
don't
ago.
live close by now, do you?
Sorry?
You're not that close anymore, are you? In terms of you don't live.
No. Well, he's living up in Cambridge, and he's been living in Cambridge for a long time now. It is nice over there. He's out in the country, and that is perfect place for him.
Yeah.
He loves it there. But yeah, I'm living in Slough, like near the city at the minute, so it's a bit. The problem is I am driving now, so really I should be. It's one thing is getting the time to do it because I'm working like 6-7 days a week in a minute as well. And when I'm not working, I'm either doing stuff around the house or doing favors for someone else or whatever. But I have got to prioritize it. I've got to get down there and see him.
Now you're domesticated. So let's talk about when were you sort of conscious of or aware of your mum and dad's proximity to arm wrestling, how keen they were, because you had a lot of people come round your place.
Yeah.
At that time.
I mean, I remember one thing I do remember. I remember the news actually coming round to the house. I think it was like London News or something like that. But they actually come round and that, and they've done a lot of filming. And the funny thing is, the guy who actually come round and like covered the story, I'm just cutting forward a bit of time at the minute. Back in 2007, when I first started, Mum and Dad got back together for a brief amount of time. We got the news round then, and the sports reporter then, he's the same guy that done the coverage on them, like back in like '94, whatever. He remembered it. Like, as soon as he showed him the clip, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's me. Look there, that's me." There." See, it was like,
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, I was always aware of like our front room was like filled with trophies, like filled like all the way around the front room, like
Yeah.
all on shelves and that, like just stacked everywhere. Um, I didn't really understand how good they were, but at the same time, like they were my mum and dad, I see them as like the strongest people in the world.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like it's hard to sort of weigh it up like where I actually knew how good they were. But in my eyes, like they were just like the best sort of thing. They were the best at it, sort of thing. Like in my eyes.
They weren't bad, mate. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Your dad had a time when he was very, very serious.
Mm.
Very, very serious. He was, he was there. Anybody arm wrestled around the world, top guys, they knew he was there, mate. Let me tell you, he was
Yeah.
a real handful. Now, what was your first sort of sporting pursuit, mate? Were you involved in any other sports when you were at school, anything like that?
No, well, so obviously in school and that, like growing up, I used to always like arm wrestling's always been a part of it. Do you know what I mean? Like every time I went to, because I moved to a few different schools as well. Like I moved to a few different houses, a few different areas, quite a few different schools, which is quite hard as well. But every time I went to a different school, I'd be telling people, "Oh yeah, like my parents are champion arm wrestlers and all that." Most people wouldn't believe me.
Mm-hmm.
I showed some techniques and whatever to people, like even at a really young age, sort of thing. Like I've always like loved the arm wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I had a little kick about with mates and that playing footy in school, after school and that. The only time I really tried doing another sport was actually football, but that weren't until I was like 12 years old, something like that. Um, when I moved to Cambridge after Luton, because I moved away from Luton when I was like 6 years old, 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Moved to Cambridge with mum and dad. And again, there was just more countryside there, so more hunting, more fishing.
Yep.
I was living in my element there. But the arm wrestling sort of stopped around that time. When we moved away from Luton and that, it was just like, it was almost like a fresh start. So it weren't too much arm wrestling, just like living normal lives. Weren't really doing much sport there or anything. I was still a bit too young, just like playing on the street with the other kids, wheeling the bikes and all that stuff. When I moved up north, no, sorry, after that as well, I moved to Clacton-on-Sea.
Mm-hmm.
Right by the beach there. So a lot of that part of my life was basically just Jaywick. It was a place called Jaywick. It's like now it's known as one of the most deprived towns in the UK. Not much to do there. Like half the buildings, even at the time when I was living there, half the buildings were like just derelict.
Right.
Like that. So a lot of time would just be like kids would be kids.
Yep.
Going into these old derelict buildings and that, just having a little mooch about, having a little fuck about on the beach. Yes, that was pretty. Weren't too much going on there either. It's only when I moved up north to Stockport when I was about 11 years old that I got into a football team. And I was playing football for like 3 or 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I was bad at first, really, really bad, but then I started getting pretty good at it. I think I was getting pretty good anyway. I was like centre mid and centre defence. I was a pretty good defender, I think.
Yep.
Then I left that team, went for a better team. Couldn't really match anyone else on that team, sort of thing. I was a bit behind them. Started catching up to them again, and then I was pretty much on par with them. Tried leaving them, going to another team, and they were just like another level. And I was like, right now, this isn't for me.
Yep.
Oh, I can't do this. This is
And
proper.
at what age was that, mate?
About, I must have been about 12 at the time.
Yeah.
12, 13 years old at that time.
Was your dad quite encouraging, or your mum quite encouraging of that? Were they, of your footy, were they into that or not so much?
Not so much really. I mean, my mum and dad basically. Well, I left it out that mum and dad after Cambridge they weren't together.
Yeah.
Like when we by the time we moved to Clacton, like they'd already split up, sort of thing there. So it was just me, my siblings, and my mum living together at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we lived in Clacton like that, and then moved up north like that. I lost contact with my dad for a few years, and I got back in contact with him when I was up north, like during the time I was playing a bit of footy. And obviously he likes a bit of football, and that's Leeds supporter.
Yep.
Yeah, they've always been supportive, whatever I wanted to do, and that they've always been like, they never told me I'm not allowed to do anything or whatever, like unless it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that I enjoyed, like there was like more than supportive for it.
Yeah. And
Uh,
when was your first? Because you've sort of you've had the pedigree, of your mum and dad being involved in the sport at a deep level, mate. Then they've sort of got out of the sport. So what was the road back? How did you get back? What?
well, that was basically after Stockport, lived there for a few years, and then moved back to Luton again.
Yeah.
Well, just outside Luton, a place called Dunstable, outside Luton. And my sister weren't actually too well. Well, she had like I think she had like a sty in her eye or something.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with her eye at the time, the vein. And we was back in contact with my dad at the time then, not seeing too much of him, but after that he come down and to see her in hospital, obviously. Him and mum got chatting, they decided to give it another go. And I went with him back to Cambridge to pick up all his stuff, and he brought the table back with him. I was like, "Oh, you still got a table?" He's like, "Yeah, I've always got a table. Like I've always had it." And I think that was actually, I'm pretty sure he said that was a table from Over the Top.
Yeah.
I'm
Ring pads. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Yeah.
And it was all been like recoated, repainted, and everything. I remember like getting it in the front room and that, and we painted a big Union Jack on it and all that. And then it was literally me, Levain, mum, and dad started training again. That was my first proper bit of time on the table, like when I was like 15. And Levain started off really good. Like I started off like really, really bad. Like I was like 55 kilo wet at the time, like 15 years old, like 6'2", 55 kilo. I was really skinny. Levain was just like blitzing me all over the place. When Levain first started, like we went to train with Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes was actually the first club that I trained at. With Steve Curlew, Jason Brooks was there at the time, obviously as well.
Yeah. Matt Preston.
Matt Preston was there. Like he was like I think he'd just come out of the juniors at that time. And then we started going down to Slough to train with Richard, Sylvan, Joanne, and yeah, that was it as well. Because before my dad and mum got back together, my dad pulled the British in 2006.
Yeah.
In Lakeside Shopping Centre, and he beat Reggie Rexep,
Yeah.
Vukaturna.
Yeah.
He's trained with Slough as well. Like, he was pretty strong, Reggie the Robot. So yeah, that sort of give my dad a little bite to get back into it again. So we started going down to Slough, train with them. Levain, she was like the same weight as me. She was like 50 kilo, 55 kilo.
Yeah.
And when she was pulling with Joanne at that time, 2007, nothing in it. Like they were beating each other, sort of thing. Like really, really close. Levain had a really good start in the sport. She done like 3 competitions and won 3 competitions, like just like that. I don't know. I don't actually know what it was that made her stop. But it's a shame because I think even now, if she actually committed to it, got into it, give her 2 years, like there's a lot of women in her weight class that are in trouble, like in the world. Literally, she's definitely got something there. She just needs to like commit to it fully, and she'll be good. But it took me about at least 6 months to close the gap. At least 6 months to close the gap with my sister. Like it took me a year just to get a pin in a amateur competition. And the thing with that as well is when mum and dad used to do it, obviously, I was hungry to like prove myself. So I didn't want to just go into it half-hearted and that. I was going into it thinking, right, I've got to get to this level. I've got to get here. I have to reach it. I can't do this and not achieve something that I feel like I have to achieve because of the family name sort of thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of motivation just in that itself. I kept doing it, kept training hard. And I just felt the gap slowly closing like after a little while, like with certain people. And yeah, when I noticed that 1 month you feel like the gap's like that, and then another month later, a few more sessions, you feel like the gap's like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, right, these people aren't actually as far in front as you think. And literally that's how I fought through pretty much my whole career. Like people could feel like they're that far in front when they're actually just that far in front. They're just doing a certain little thing that makes you feel like you're 100 times weaker. But you can make that one little change and it makes a big difference. Most of my career, especially like first starting my first 4 or 5 years into the sport,
Yep.
I'll be entering every single class that I could.
Oh,
Every single class that I could. And exactly for that reason, I'll be losing to him, but there'd be one person that I feel like there's something there. Even though I lost to him, like I know there's something there. I'm going in his weight class again, next competition, and I'm going to get him. Literally one person at a time. Every single tournament I've done, every tournament, every single weight class, I beat that person. That'll be right. Who was I closest to next?
yeah.
Whether they're in my weight class or if they're in a heavier weight class. At the time as well, I was benefiting quite a bit because we had the junior classes in the country.
That's right.
Yeah, junior classes. It was juniors and the novice championships held on the same weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing both the junior and the novices, like, and you was letting me as well, like, enter all the weight classes and novices. Like, I was doing my weight and the heavyweight in novices. Yep. And I was getting spanked at first, but like I said, I was feeling the gap was closing more and more and more, and it was doing my confidence a lot of good, going against bigger people and doing well with bigger people.
Yep.
Even though they weren't, I won't say names in that, but a lot of them weren't actually that good. Like at the sport, they were strong, but they weren't good at arm wrestling, and that gave me a lot of more confidence as well. Just being a better arm wrestler is all that matters. It don't matter how strong you are. You don't have to be strong. You just got to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just basically spiraled from there. And like I said, I just kept picking people off.
And I know you're saying you used to do the classes, which you did, but you also you were never off the practice table, mate.
Yeah, I remember it was probably a record in Norway. It was probably a record in Norway. I was literally on the table. Like I think I've done the juniors and the seniors, as well. Like, do you know what? The one guy that I remember pulling over there as well. It's weird because if I look back at some of these competitions that I've done, like these big competitions years ago, and then these days, these people are actually someone, and I'm like, I'm sure I recognise it. I'll go back and look at the list. I'm like, oh yeah, I did pull him before. Actually, I beat him back then. So Europeans, Norway, 2008. That was
Fredrikstad in Norway. Yeah.
Yeah. I beat FREDDY GUNARSSON like 4 times. Like in that one when we were juniors, sort of thing. Like just like took him off centre. You know FREDDY GUNARSSON, don't you? Yeah.
So, for anybody in the chat or interested to see just how good FREDDY GUNARSSON was involved in Arm Wars. He was multiple Swedish national champion, did well at many European events. Some of his best matches were actually in Arm Wars against the HALE raiser, Jeff HALE. And they had some hellfire battles, unbelievable battles. Go into the Arm Wars archive and watch those. I'll try and put link in the description of FREDDY GUNARSSON and Jeff. They are incredible matches. Incredible matches. They're really
So with that, even before that though, like talking about being shy and whatever as a kid, I really wanted to be an arm wrestler, but I was actually terrified of like being up front in front of everyone on stage. If I was called out for like finals of the juniors, junior championships and that, I wouldn't be looking at any of the crowd. Wouldn't look at anyone. Just literally table straight on. That's it. Would not look at anyone at all. I remember even in you got me my first Arm Wars. I still got the trophy actually, somewhere. Arm Wars Trafford Centre. I went in that. I think it was a 4-way battleground. It was me, James Bamber, Chris Waters. No, it's an 8-man battleground. But it was James. I remember the ones I remember is James Bamber, Chris Waters, Robert Meakin in the final.
Yeah.
And I ended up beating Robert Meakin in the final. First time I beat him as well, sort of thing. He's another one that I thought was like out of my range.
Mm-hmm.
But before that final, you said to me, I was like trying to walk off stage quick. You said, right, let's get a word with Tom quickly. I was like, oh no. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You asked me a load of questions and that, and then I'm like, you're like, yeah, turn the mics up, turn them. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't
Good
do
experience, mate. Good experience for what was to come. Who knew, you see?
Oh, mate. Yeah, that was terrifying at the time then.
An interesting story though, Tom. If you look back in the early days of Devon and you look at his character and you look at how he projected, he was much quieter, softly spoken lad.
Yeah.
Nowhere near the same level of bravado, confidence, So as your confidence grows, as your prowess at the table grows and your confidence grows alongside it, your demeanor can change as well. With that confidence can create a big sweeping change, and it's definitely done that with yourself, mate.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, even now, like, I'm not the biggest fan of like getting up in front of people, even on this now. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but the problem is, it's not we're not like in primary school where a lot of people get stage fright and that. Mm-hmm. What I always tell people now is people aren't looking at you and like laughing at you, like, oh, look at him. They're just listening to what you're saying. That's all it is. As soon as you got
that, nervous tonight coming on the show? Do you feel nervous?
No, not now. Not now. No. I'm used to it now, mate. But when I was breaking through it, that's how I used to think to like break through that sort of barrier of like being worried on stage and like talking on camera and stuff.
Yeah.
People are only listening to what you're saying. They're not looking at you like trying to take the piss out of you, and they might be, but like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it as well. Like, if you're too nervous and if you're worried about what everyone's thinking when you're up there arm wrestling, you're not focused on the match.
Yeah.
Like, you need to just like not care about anything, tunnel vision, whatever it is, just focus on what you're doing. Otherwise, you're not going to do as well as what you could have. So that's the one thing I had to keep reminding myself. Get confidence, go on stage, and then do what I do.
Was there a big difference? Obviously, you said there in the first Arm Wars you did, where you were with Rob Meakin and you got the win there. Did that change your confidence much? Did you take a lot from that?
Yeah, I mean that was the biggest stage I'd been on at the time as well. That was right in the middle of Trafford Centre.
Yeah.
Big entrance and that, walking down the stairs to it, sort of thing. Again, I remember even walking down the stairs and that, playing the song "Where's Your Head At," and I'm looking out into the crowd, but I'm not looking at them. I'm just like just zoned out, pretending no one's there, sort of thing. But after that was a big.
Then, mate, how old were you? Just to let everybody know, this is quite fascinating.
What was that? 2008, 16. 16 that time.
You were.
And that was a big jump. That was from like nothing. From like a year before starting arm wrestling. Like, even just like going into the middle of the room in the crofters was bad for me at the time. And then I went from that to middle of Trafford Centre on a big like 50-foot screen. Like, it was a big jump, but
massive crowd, massive.
Yeah, that's it. But then that's part of growing as well. Like, you got to put yourself out your comfort zone, and that's the only way you're going to do it. You got to force yourself into them situations. You got to get used to it. Simple as that. If you don't let yourself get used to it, you're not going to get used to it.
It always used to interest me though, mate, because obviously I wanted to throw you in at the deep end a little bit there, even though you were young, but you had It's the right word for it, really. Obviously, you were shy, but you had like an alter ego. But when you were at the table, you were like a dog being let off a lead.
Yeah,
As soon as you got actually pulling, you were in your element.
yeah,
And it was very, very obvious you weren't really giving any attention to what was that side of the camera, that side of the stage.
yeah.
Really in your arm wrestling, I always felt that would be the case, and I thought it was a good experience for you.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Like I say this. I said I don't know how to explain it really. I wasn't like how can I say it? Life weren't easy all the time, sort of thing. And that was my outlet, sort of thing at the table, sort of thing. That's one time that I could actually
Yeah,
channel something and like go balls out and whatever I wanted. Like I said at the time as well, when I got used to the stage and that, I just really didn't care. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to try my absolute hardest. Don't care what anyone says. Don't care what anyone thinks. And go hard or go home. So every single time it was like 110% every time. If I didn't give 100%, I'd regret it.
life wasn't easy all the time. Did you have a lot of frustration at that point?
Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, a lot of my upbringing, it was like let's remember as well. I went to how many was it? So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I went to altogether, including juniors and high school. I went to 9 different schools,
Bloody
like
hell.
nine different schools. And there's only 11 years in school, so one thing I had to do was constantly try and adapt.
Yeah, that's hard.
Constantly trying to adapt, and especially at a young age, every area I moved into, I had a different accent. I start picking up an accent, and I move to a completely different area. Start picking up an accent, move to a completely different area. I was never the one that actually like fit into school almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Always, I obviously made mates and all that,
Yeah,
but I always stood out in school as the new kid. And then by the time I was like almost blending into it, that's when it would be like, right, we're moving again,
yeah.
going somewhere else now. It's just starting over again and again. I kept starting afresh all the time, sort of thing. So that wasn't. I wasn't very settled. I wasn't very settled as a kid.
Yeah.
And so when I've actually found arm wrestling as well, it's the one thing that I was like, I'm not letting this go. There's not many things that I can actually commit to and stick to,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So as soon as I found it, I was like, I love this. Nothing's stopping me from like, don't matter where I move now. This is one thing that I can say I'm into it, and that's it. Like I can't change this at all. So
And you
yeah,
had a
there's
lot
a
of
lot of changes.
ability in arm wrestling, didn't you? You always had a lot of, or certainly when you really got stuck into it and you'd done your work on the table, you got pretty well rounded pretty quick. You maybe lacked a little power, but you were definitely fluid. And you
Yeah, again as well. Like that's partly it's what I tell people now. The main I put that down to entering as many tournaments as I can,
yeah,
pulling as many people as I can, competition or side table.
yeah,
Like I always make the most of the table, and you're always learning.
yeah,
I remember you telling me years ago, like wrestle, you like you're the weakest man,
yeah.
like, and it was like things like that. There's always a way of beating someone. Like in my head, there's always a way. Don't matter who you are. Like if you, even if they give you something slightly, no matter what it is, like there's always a chance. And if you don't give it that 110%, you're never going to know.
Mm-hmm.
And I've found that out quite a few times. I think a lot of it as well is you can actually beat yourself before you've even gone up there. If you
Yes.
know your opponents. A lot of my success from my earlier days, especially, is when I didn't know who I was pulling.
Yeah.
If I didn't know what to do, what they were capable of, all that, and then I'd have people come up to me after saying, "Oh, you know that's blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's like multiple national champion. I'm like, don't know. I'm just arm wrestling.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of my career. It's just been like early days of my career, especially like I said. It's just been about figuring people out. Most people are one dimensional.
Yeah.
Like, or at least what most people like were one dimensional that I was pulling.
I think a lot still are.
Sorry.
I think a lot still are, mate.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I feel like a lot of them are quite easy. They're not strong. If they get in their lane with me, there's a lot of people that have got the capability of beating me in the country, but they're not doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing. Like I'm not matching their power. I'm just taking it away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of people have like. When people lose at a competition, they just a lot of them think, "Oh, I need to get stronger." It's like, no, you need to get better. Like that's to me, that's the key of it. Like you've got to get better. You're only strong where you're strong. If you can't get to where you're strong, it's no good. Don't keep thinking that you like, oh, I need to get stronger. I need to get stronger. You need to do what you need to do to win. Like if someone's got a massive hand, the reason I started hooking quite a lot, like I used to be non-stop top rolling. Like I used to watch Steve Curlew and Cobra Rhodes getting in these break arm positions, and I used to think, oh, I can do that. I used to do it, and I used to work with some people. I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
They used to work. Now I started getting feel for it. But then if someone's hand was too big, I'll be like, right, there's no chance doing that. I've just got to go inside.
Yep.
But then it starts working. Like you're not trying to beat the hand, and I just kept trying to suss it out like that. Like if you can't go somewhere, don't even try. Go somewhere that you can move to.
Mm-hmm.
Go where the gap is. Basically,
And through trial and error, you found your position of comfort.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, like I said, I never beat anyone the first time round. Like pretty much everyone in the UK, I lost to once, at least once.
Mm-hmm.
I had to keep trying. I just had to keep trying.
Yeah.
Every time I pulled them, I tried something different. Like every single time, and eventually, I got them. Like, yeah, like I said, obviously a lot of it's like growing. Like, because I was young as well, and now I'm growing into a man sort of thing. So I'm getting more natural strength like that. But still, the knowledge on the table and that, and just knowing and understanding what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Like I said, sometimes it's not about being strong. It's just about making them weaker rather than making yourself stronger. That makes sense.
Early inspirations, Tom, from an arm wrestling perspective, because certainly in your early career, you were very much based domestically a lot of the time. Who were you focused on international stars of the sport, or were you mostly focused on UK lads? Who were the guys you were looking up to? Who were your inspirations?
I was really. This will sound quite bad, but during my arm wrestling career, I was pretty self-invested.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about international pullers. I'd heard about the obvious ones like Cobra Rhodes, John Brazing, like heard all the obvious ones, Voda at the time and all that. All of them ones like were standouts. But I even remember at training, like when I first started the club again, back in 2013, 14.
Yep.
I'd have novices come in, and they'd know more international people than me. They're like, "Oh, did you see it?" I remember I didn't even know Prudnik and all that at the time at 2014. I was like, they're like, "Oh, did you see that match with him?" I'm like, "Who's that?" They're like, "Oh, this guy, he's done this." I'm like, "No, I don't know. Sorry, mate. I'm just Let's focus on myself." It sounds a bit ignorant like that, but it's literally it weren't like that. It's just more like I say, I was fully focused on my career.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just weren't paying too much attention to the actual whole world of arm wrestling. I knew a lot of them, but I weren't really investigating it or like studying it much. Just focusing on my own career, like purely my own career. Like, and I remember one big turning point, my first big turning point, where I felt like I could really do. Because I had a break. I had a break from the arm wrestling after the Worlds in Italy 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a couple of competitions after that, but I weren't training because I basically moved to Cambridge with my dad. as well after that at the age of like 18, 19. Done a couple of competitions like over the space of 3 years.
Yeah.
Literally zero training, no training whatsoever. And then after that, when I first got back into the sport again, I remember my last competition was actually a competition called the Plough. The Plough. It was in Slough.
Yeah.
And it was Anil Najran's first competition. So it was almost his first competition before I left, and my last competition. And then he was my first super match when I come back into it, like 3 years later, and he was like on the level then. I just about beat him. I was like, right, I've got some catching up to do now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it took me a couple of years. I was putting people like struggling with people like Barry Knowles and all that. I was around their weight. I was around 75 kilo at that time. Again, it was just the same process again, just trying to pick people off. If I lost to them, I'd come back again, try and beat them again. Always just picking people off one person at a time. If I could beat that one person that I lost to last time, like the next tournament, I'd be happy. Like that'd be achievement done. Even if I didn't win, as long as I beat that one person in the class, that's all I care about. And then it'll be all right. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? List started getting narrower and narrower. But then I went to the X-Men competition in London. There was a few big names inside that. Again, at that time, I really had no idea who anyone was. Like, didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
And
the likes of Plum and Dimitrov were there.
I knew Plamen from I actually knew Plamen from the Worlds in 2009. Like me and him were actually on the side table for like a few days. Again, like on 2009 when we were juniors. He's about my age.
Svetkov from Ukraine.
Yeah, I did Svetkov. Levi was in it. I pulled Levi. I beat Levi left arm in that one. Svetkov, I had a really good match with him.
Great match.
Yeah, again, I was top rolling that time. Top rolled him. A guy from Finland, I can't remember his name. Gashevsky.
Yeah.
Was there, ended up pulling Gashevsky. Didn't do too bad with him, but he probably got in a battle. And that I tried top rolling him, couldn't top roll, then stopped him in the hook. Restarted. I tried ploughing into the hook again, but I got a second elbow fell, but I felt pretty good with him. He's one of them. Dan Thomas come up to me after. He's like, "Oh, do you know who that is?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Oh, that's Svet and Gachevsky." I'm like, "Right, who's that?" He's like, "Oh, he's like multiple world champion." I was like, "I don't know." I just don't have a clue. I don't know who he was. Then I started looking at all that. But I feel like that sort of like clicked with me then. I was like, am I really pulling these sort of guys? Like, are they really? I'm not at that level. Like, I don't think I'm that level. And then after that, so that was like a bit of that had to sink in a little bit there. After that, I went to Rochefort. I pulled what's his name? Hellboy, Matty Schlitt. Yeah, end up beating him in a war in the hook. In Rochefort in the final. Again, I tried top rolling him. Didn't work because his hand's so big. The last thing naturally you'd want to do with him, someone an arm that big, is go inside. But I was like, this is the only way. Then I beat him inside.
Yep.
I was like, all right, there's something here now. Done that. The big one for me though was when I beat Craig. Because I tried beating him a few times. Every time I pulled him, there's just no chance. Like most people wouldn't even try and attack him because he's just blasting through. Like no one wants to break their arm, even me. I'm trying to top roll him. I'm trying to like flop it. Everything I tried, like it's just nothing at all. Not even close. As soon as you said about the WAL, you're like, right,
European qualifier.
Big money. Yeah, you're like, right, there's big money involved here, Tom. Like tens of thousands of pounds and that up for grabs sort of thing. I was like, right, this is worth breaking my arm. Like I'm just gonna go inside. see what happens. Like if it breaks, it breaks. Like, this is serious money here. I'm going to do it. And then the match stopped. I celebrated just when the match stopped. I didn't even pin him, but I started celebrating as soon as I stopped the match because that was like a big thing to stop him.
Yeah.
Just run through people. Then yeah, after that, I beat him twice on that day. And that was like a big confidence boost then. So I knew then.
Yeah, like a coming out party in your level, wasn't it? You knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
No joke,
That's
man.
what confirmed it. But even then, like with people like Craig, that weren't good enough for me still.
Yeah.
I had to beat him again at the next tournament. And then ended up pulling him, got in the hook. He elbow fell twice. The referee called it off. I'm like, no, don't let him go, don't stop the match. And referee Keith Taylor called it. He said, no, it's a loss, like winner Tom. And I turned around to Craig and said, look, do you want to go again? Like, let's find out. So I want to know, mate. I don't want to win like this. I'm not here to win like that. I just want to know. Like, I'd rather lose to you, legit, than win like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was literally just like confirming it for myself, mainly, rather than getting like crowd glory. Benefit is literally just like personal gain for myself. Like I needed to know myself that I could do it, like things like that, which is a lot of the motivation. I'm not really doing it for crowd pleasing or anything like that. Like I'll wrestle someone with like no one in the room.
Yeah, bet your
What
ass.
I mean, and no one would have to ever find out.
No.
Like I wouldn't care if I beat anyone in the world. I really wouldn't care if no one ever found out about the match and I killed him.
You know.
Sorry?
If you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. That's all I care about. It's such self-glory. I'm not there to please everyone else. Like I said, it's there just for me to know.
Yeah.
It's big motivation.
Nothing wrong with that, mate. I think that's a good place to leave it, actually, because it really was a sort of, I think the WL qualifier, European qualifier, and I want to go into the tournament a little bit more. So the next time we chat, if you do a little bit of research and recollection around who you pulled there, because there were some, I want to concentrate on some of those matches because,
yeah,
I mean, we'll not talk about it this week, but yeah, do your homework there for next time and revisit that because it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
We've been on an hour there, and I think it sets a good tone for part two, mate. So I want to just say thanks very much for the first part. Really, really interesting to revisit some of that, pal.
No, I appreciate that, mate. Hope everyone else didn't get bored.
It just sets it's an opportunity for people to go and check out a little bit of your backstory.
Yeah.
We'll dip back into that as we go forward again, mate. But in the next week or so, we'll do part two. We'll arrange a date and get back on and do part two. Before you go, tell everybody where they can follow you, mate. Are you still active much on YouTube?
I haven't been lately, but I will be. But for now, just get subbed on it for now. Lean Machine Armwrestling. I've got some things coming up. There's some things in the pipeline that I'm working on. Something a bit different, nice. And it'll be like full commitment. It'll be at least like 2 videos a week. Yeah, I'm working on it now. There's some interesting stuff coming up. So if you get onto Lean Machine Armwrestling, I'd really appreciate it.
Tremendous. And obviously your next outing is going to be in the Arm Wars dark card, which is coming up.
Yeah.
Big match announcement coming there. So stand by for that. That will be in the second week of November, guys. We'll be putting the dark card together, which will be available for channel members the following week. And again, keep your eye on what's coming up on the channel. I've been away for a couple of weeks, as everybody knows. Been over in Malta doing Battle of the Beasts with Eddie Hall, Brian Shaw, and all the Strongman crew. We got Giants Live next weekend. This weekend, just to give everybody a little bit of information, we are also going to be having Devon Larratt on as a special guest. So Devon's going to be a special guest on Sunday night. We'll have Bogdan Stoiker on there. You never know. We might even get Tom Holland to join us as well. But that's coming up with a fix this weekend, guys. A lot of announcements coming up as we get things rolling again. I'll put some links in to some of the stuff we talked about here as well. I'll find some of the Freddie Gunnarsson matches and let everybody have a look at those. And I'll also link Tom's channel in there for everybody as well, so you can get on there. But Tom, tremendous, mate. Thank you for your time. Thanks for taking the time out to come on the show.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
I genuinely look forward to doing the second element, mate, and to giving people more of an insight onto your career and how it's built up over the years. Big things to come, brother.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Just let me know when. We'll get it on.
Top man. Ladies and gents, if this is your first time here at Supernatural Strength, please like, share, subscribe, and we will be back this Sunday with the fix, usual times. Until I see you then, guys, biggity bong, mother fluffers. Top man, Tom. Thanks, pal.
No worries, mate. No worries at all. Yeah, didn't